When life throws a curveball at him, Jose Berlanga doesn't just dodge it, he turns it into an opportunity for success. Welcome to Lifejacked, the Resilience Podcast, where we dive into the stories of individuals who have triumphed over adversity, embodying resilience in its truest form. My name is Dr. Rowe. In each episode, we uncover the journeys of remarkable individuals who have faced challenges head on and emerged stronger. In this episode, I am honored to have Jose Berlanga, a true exemplar of resilience and success. Originally from Mexico City, Jose Miguel Berlanga established himself in Houston in the 80s as an entrepreneur while studying at the University of St. Thomas, which is exciting for me because I am also in the Houston area. So yay, Houston. With over 35 years of experience, he is a seasoned business owner, renowned for his success in various industries, including real estate and residential construction. For the past 26 years, Jose has led construction companies, notably co-founding Tricon Homes in 1997, achieving annual revenues of $100 million and revitalizing Houston's inner city. A graduate of University of St. Thomas with degrees in business administration, economics, and philosophy, Jose's strategic acumen and strong work ethic have driven the success of close to 2,000 homes. His passion for business and life inspires his teams, making him a mentor who consistently delivers results. He is also the author of The Business of Home Building, a must-have guide for anyone looking to get into the home building business. I am honored to have Jose here today because he is the first guest as I transition to visual podcasting. So without further delay, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Berlanga. Hi, Jose. Welcome. Thank you so much for being a guest on my show. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Rowe. It is wonderful to be here. I'm honored to be the first one in your show, in your visual show. So this will be fun. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. So, of course, I gave a little introduction about you and how wonderful you are. But what initially sparked your interest in construction?
Well, thank you so much, by the way, for that wonderful introduction. Just listening to it is exhausting, and there's much, much, much more to it. That's the irony. I am known as the construction guy, the builder, the developer, the real estate guy, but to be quite frank, there's much more. I'm more of an entrepreneur. I've been involved in so many different businesses that I don't talk about. I've been one of those people that do not talk that much about his or her business. Somehow I find it over the years. I guess I grew up in an era where there was a little bit of arrogance attached to talking too much about your activities and your businesses and in any level of success. So I've been very anonymous about what I do, but there is so much more to my activities. I love entrepreneurship. I love starting businesses. Life throws you, talking about the subject of resilience and adversity, life throws you funny curveballs because I never wanted to be a business operator. I've never thought of myself as someone who would have the ability, perhaps not only the patience, but the willingness to sit there tediously hours after hours and days and weeks and months and years running a business, which is extremely difficult. And I've done it. Somehow I've done it. But a big portion of that number of years in which I've been an entrepreneur, they were dedicated to the construction business. I get that question asked a lot. What led you into the world of residential construction and renovating and revitalizing all of these inner city neighborhoods and all of the other real estate enterprises that we're involved with. But the most interesting thing is that one thing led to another, and one business um, in destiny just threw me from here to there, and before you know it, you are doing what you're doing. Sometimes you don't plan things; just life has a plan for you. I
That's so
want
true.
I necessarily I'll finish the this response by saying that I never had any intentions of becoming a builder. My other than the fact that my brother is an architect and we partnered to start a company because I had some business experience and he had more of the technical experience, and we joined forces and started a company. I didn't necessarily have any specific need or desire to be in any given industry. To me, I just loved business and I loved building things and making money, of course. But it didn't matter if it was building homes or building cars or building furniture or software. It
You
didn't
just
make
like
much.
entrepreneurship, right?
Yes, yes, I loved it. But one thing led to another, and before you know it, decades passed by, and I was very, very involved in this business. But I never stopped being involved in many, many other types of industries that are attractive and they're interesting to me.
So let me ask you this, because like you said, you never thought about being specifically in construction in the home building business, but you were always attracted to entrepreneurship. So was there a moment, because as you and I both know, in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to have an incredible amount of resilience, right? Which is basically this what this show is about, which is
Yes.
about resilience. Do you think that there was a moment in your childhood where like any type of pivotal moment where you knew that you were resilient or that caused you to build resilience?
There was a number of moments. Obviously, I had a big one, but I had an accident at the age of 4 that changed the course of my life. And with we I never get into it, not because I dislike the subject, but because I try to make it irrelevant to my activities and what I do. But I'll take it to what this meant as I started realizing what I was doing, and as I was growing in understanding the world of business. I have the opposite effect of what most people have about entrepreneurship. People fear building something or starting something on their own. I feared my inability to be able to get a job because of the way I grew up, because of the way that I was seen by others, uh, somewhat different, somewhat as someone that didn't fit the mold, that didn't look like the corporate guy, and I wanted to have a good future with a good career. So I thought that I had better chances creating my own destiny, creating my own company, rather than relying on someone giving me an opportunity. So I gradually started thinking about how to do that. And since I was very young, I kept searching for ways to make money, trying to figure out ways of building things and developing things and creating and designing my own destiny. So that there was a number of steps that led me to that, where I had more fear of not putting my own destiny in my hands than the fear of starting businesses. And so I, although I considered working for someone else, I didn't think that that would happen. So before you know it, I own my own business.
Love it. Now, within starting your business, right? Because I'm pretty sure that, like you said, even though your brother is an architect and y'all took on this task together, what was the first obstacle that you all faced that you had to get over?
Uh, well, the walking away from leisurely activities, that is, was I was lucky enough to start young enough where I didn't have the risk of starting later in life once you have a family and children. And and the fear of having to walk away from a job to find a better opportunity and risk it all. I didn't go through that because I started very young in business. So I had the luxury of not having that level of financial responsibility when I started my own business. My biggest contribution and the scariest part was walking away from being a young guy who wanted to have fun, who wanted to go out and drink and hang out with my friends. I had
Mm.
to understand that if I wanted to build a business and be successful and get somewhere in life, and thank God I understood that at a young enough age, I had to leave those and put them aside and understand that those were liabilities. Those were going to take away from whatever it was that I needed to achieve. And I
Mhm.
had to build the endurance, the
Mm.
focus, provide give it the amount of time that it required. I knew that it wasn't going to happen overnight. I was realistic enough to know that starting and building a business was not going to be easy. It was going to
Oh,
come with
absolutely.
endless headaches. So I think that was perhaps the biggest hurdle. Many thousands of other ones came about as I started and built and went into other businesses and
Of course.
failed many times. But the initial one was convincing myself that I had to give everything to this business,
Mhm.
and not do what I really wanted to do.
I think that the discipline and then, like you said, the endurance, I think those are the two things that are very difficult for people to understand that you have to have. There are times that I do not feel like interviewing people or doing it or releasing an episode, but I have to have that discipline. I have to, like you said, I have to say, nope, Sunday is my podcast day. That is the day that I am going to upload episodes. I'm going to do all my editing. I'm going to do my marketing. And I have to do that every single Sunday. Now I learned to build in breaks so I can have some fun. But you're right. You have to have that discipline. You have to have that stamina and endurance because if not, yeah, it's easy to set it aside, but then how can you build if you're not going up that mountain, right? It's going step by step and climbing higher and higher. You're never going to reach that destination. So I
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with you.
Thank you. Thank you. People are unrealistic sometimes. They want to achieve certain results, whatever it is. You want to be a better father. You want to be a better husband. You want to be a better entrepreneur, a better student. You want to be healthier. We're just not willing to do whatever it is that it takes in order for you to achieve those things. And you have to reconcile those two and understand that anything that has value is going to come with some pain attached to it, and you have to get comfortable with that pain and understand sooner or later which pain might be greater, the pain of putting up with what it takes to get somewhere, or the pain of just living a life that you necessarily don't want for yourself. And at some point you make that choice.
No, absolutely. So then this brings me to my next question. So how do you maintain this kind of balance in a sense between being consistent and, even pursuing different business endeavors? Because if you put your irons, like they said, in a lot of fires, right, then you're all over the place, right? And then, as they say, you can be, a jack of all trades and a master of none, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
how do you maintain your consistency in this balance?
Well, I've never believed until recently in balance. And this was another great asset for me. I
Okay.
didn't think um, that I could do it all and do it right.
Mm,
Some people are better. And something that I preach a lot is to learn to recognize your weaknesses, to learn about yourself. What are you able to do and not able to do? I always knew that I did not have the personality that could be a great friend while being an entrepreneur, while being a husband, while being a father, while doing everything. I knew. And then staying in shape and eating well and doing all these wonderful things. I recognized that. I admitted it to myself. So I selected periods of time in which I was going to devote and focus to specific objectives in my life. So during a number of years, I devoted to just business. Yes, I had some balance to a certain degree, but I had to pick one thing that was the most important and that would supersede the rest. And that's when I focused on my business. And I did that for years. Now, eventually, I can start devoting time to other things, but I took care of that one first. There are people that just need to perhaps understand their ability to distribute their time management skills, which what I recommend in those cases is to devote real focus and real quality time to whatever it is that you're doing, instead of being with your kids while you're thinking about business, and then being in business while you want to be with your friend. Just try to select those times for those particular activities. If you're at a point where you have to be good at all of them and juggle them. But
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to be able to break my life into blocks of years, into in a form that I could actually just make one objective my
Yeah.
priority. Now, for example, but for a while it was my family. Now that I think that I have enough time for them, I'm starting to build a little bit of more leisurely type of activities for myself that I want to do, like writing, like creating and reinventing myself. But it's not easy, by the way. It's easier said than done. It's one day at a time, struggling, regrouping, going back to the drawing board every morning. I mess up every day, where I ended up doing what I didn't want to do. And I ended up getting frustrated about things that I shouldn't have gotten frustrated. But what I do is reset every morning, regroup, spend a few minutes trying to figure out what it is that I did right or wrong, and start again.
No, most definitely. And also another thing that I want to talk about is mentorship, right? And so mentorship definitely plays a role in fostering resilience, right? And I know that you also, attribute having mentors, and you also understand the importance of being a mentor. So can you kind of talk about your opinions on mentorship, either, receiving mentorship or also you being a mentor yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're very important, and they're different things to different people. I'm going to try to explain what it means to me. I am of course, I'm the essence. I'm the meaning of adversity. I'm a person that has issues with you call it English was my second language. I'm dyslexic. I'm ADD. I'm distracted. I'm anxious. I had all these things that prevented me from just finding my place in the business world and in life. I had to put a lot of effort, understanding and following instructions and learning from mentors was always difficult because of the issues that I mentioned. Number one. Number two, because I never, other than my father, who was my best friend while he was alive, and devoted a lot of time for me to understand about business, I truly never had anyone who devoted their time to teaching me as much as I am trying to do for others. I learned that no one really devoted the right amount of focus and time for me to better myself. So I created my own way of um, learning from mentors by simply watching people who I admired, who were successful, and I tried to understand what it is that they were doing to become successful. The way they dress, the way they walk, the way they utilize their time, the way they talk to others. I saw people that I wanted to emulate, to become like, and try to learn what they were doing and try to copy them somehow. And little by little, I started adapting some of the good things, some of the things that maybe I could improve. And that was my way of learning from mentors. It wasn't necessarily things that they were teaching me or talking to me about. I learned by watching them and trying to become more like them.
No, I love that. I mean, and people make mistakes, right, all the time in business. But if one of the things that my father has always taught me is that, why would you, if you see other people making mistakes, watch
Yeah,
them, pay attention, so that way you do not have to go out and make those mistakes yourself, right? So why
absolutely.
waste time?
Yeah,
You already see
you
that person made a mistake; it doesn't work. So
you
why
have
would
to
you
pay
go? That's it. Why would you go and make that same mistake, right? So I love it.
Yeah,
Now,
and of course we're humans, so we need to learn with our through our own experiences, and but I did try to, at least, yes, I made every mistake that you can imagine, but I also followed some of the footsteps of some of these people that were intriguing to me.
yeah, yeah. So you have built 2,000 homes. Wow.
With my
What an
very own
amazing
hand.
feat.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, yeah, it's easier said than done, and this is really a portion of my activity. This business is very tiring, very consuming.
I bet.
Land development, land speculating, real estate in general.
Mhm.
The building part is perhaps a fun part, but the risking of your capital, credit, running,
Right.
managing people, putting out fires. It's a tedious work.
Yeah.
The number of homes, it's not shocking to many, because uh, most large companies build those in a year in the suburbs. But when you're an inner city builder that is building scattered construction with a number of floor plans and homeowners associations and architectural designs, and dealing with all these scattered developments, the logistical aspects of managing it are very difficult. So for inner cities, that's a bunch of homes. That's a lot of work, and we managed to create our own systems to build them and manage them, and operate the company, and became a good sized company. But unfortunately, one of the not a mistake, but one of the obstacles that we faced is that as we grew, the business was very dependent on us, the owners. Some of these aspects were very difficult to delegate, so it became very tiring over the years to run this business. But yes, we are one of the companies that revitalized a lot of Houston inner cities, and now Houston keeps growing, and like most other major cities in the U.S., and progressing and improving, and I think we had a lot to do with that.
No, and I think it's wonderful that a lot of people are moving here, but at the same time, it makes it very frustrating because the
Traffic is
traffic is getting
horrible.
out
Yeah.
of control. I think
It-
even like since COVID, before COVID, I mean, traffic was bad. But I think even after COVID, I'm like, where did all these people come from? Like, I'm just driving in traffic and I'm just like on 59 and I'm just like, there's no reason for this traffic to be here because there's also, Houston is just like any other major city. It's never ending construction, right? Never
yeah,
ending road construction. It's like they're
I don't.
always trying to add more roads or, change or divert the traffic to some other way. I mean, direction, it's just insane. But I do,
Yeah,
thank you because essentially what you're doing is you're providing homes, right? Which is an amazing feat for most people because some people are first time home buyers, right? They're the first person in their home, in their family to own a home. And that is an amazing accomplishment because some people come from families that there were two families in a home, right? Or, they were renting and having to move from place to place. The rent was changing, maybe they had a landlord that was not, the best landlord for them and didn't maybe come and fix things. So
yes,
the fact that they now have an opportunity at home ownership and you and your brother are the ones that can provide that place for their family, that home where they're going to make lots of memories, in that place. That's just phenomenal.
And interestingly enough, I let me add that when we got into this business, we truly did not get in it to make a killing, to make a bunch of money. We had a mission. It wasn't popular back then when we started in the mid late 90s to be an inner city builder. It was rare. I mean, the economy had been horrible for a while. We went in because we really wanted to do this. My brother wanted to build. I wanted to build a business. We wanted to provide a product that was affordable. We had a very specific mission, which I think was part of the success, that we wanted to build homes that had a great location, proximity to downtown, and that were affordable. And that we were pioneers. I mean, we took a gamble. We started risking in areas that were not popular at the time. Soon enough, a lot of people followed. There were tons of new builders that came in, and just to wrap up the mentorship, I think both my brother and I could have grown so much more, but that wasn't the objective. We really invested so much time in our team that one of the, perhaps some people would call it a mistake, we spent so much time making sure that each person within our team was enjoying the activity, was growing with us, was doing well. We made sure that every position didn't fail. We were more worried about the individuals doing a good job within the company than the company itself at times. And in retrospect, we could have just focused on growing and growing and growing rather than building a wonderful infrastructure within the company, in building a great working environment. So we did a lot of mentoring within our organization, where many people went on their own and started their companies, and many of them are very, very successful now.
That's phenomenal. Now, one of the things that entrepreneurs have to do is stay ahead of the curve, right? Because if you want to stand out and you want to be different than everybody else, because you want them essentially you want your customer to pick you, right? Because there are a lot of home builders, right? And so in order to do that, you have to stand out from the crowd. So what exactly do you do to be innovative? And especially with technology now entering homes at like a crazy rate, right? All these smart homes, pretty much all the appliances are smart. Now TVs are smart. I mean, pretty much, I think I have about 27 devices in my home that have to function with internet. Like, I don't think they work if I don't have the internet. So how do you stay ahead of innovation?
Well, great question, because there's a lot to it. And I'm going to change. I'm going to answer by, I'm going to start the answer by saying that one of the very difficult things in this industry was to differentiate ourselves. I often used to say that there is no brand name builder. And that always bothered me, that we were in such a competitive industry, such a competitive business with little barrier of entry, where we could provide the best product, the best service, the best maintenance, the best warranty. And people were so into price. Who can get me the best price? And I kept saying, I wish there was a brand name for builders. There is a brand name for shoes, for purses, for jewelry, for belts. I don't think there's a product that doesn't have a brand name. But a house, it's, hey, what's the best deal? And interestingly enough, this is one of the most important products that we buy as consumer, one of the biggest investments that we make. And so we kept trying to innovate by putting better products, better brands, better things in the house, and giving better value. So we tried to perfect. It is a very long story as to how we differentiated ourselves, because that's part of your game. When you get into a business, part of the job is try to be better and more efficient in the way that you do things, and try to offer a product that has some characteristics that differentiate it from the rest of the pack. But in a home, it's easier said than done because it's also about taste. Some people like contemporary, cottage, Victorian, Mediterranean, Spanish, you name it. Everybody wants something different. So at the end of the game, you just have to provide a good service to everyone. But it was a very difficult challenge. And building a name and building a good reputation is what I recommend in order to stay competitive when you're building a product that has a lot of competition and a difficult time differentiating itself from the rest. It's not like a car where you can buy a specific brand because you won that brand.
Right.
So there are instances where you have to differentiate yourself by providing a better service.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. I, and I just think about even the home that I, live in now, and there's so many options and choices. Like you said, do you want a 1-story? Do you want a 2-story? Do you want, us to, build more up or is it more about building out?
Yeah, everybody wants something different.
Elevations from the outside of your home. Do you want brick? Do you want wood? Do you want stucco? You're right. It's like a menu and it's endless.
Yeah.
And
trends change.
Yeah.
Trends change very rapidly. For a while, we would have a lot of houses that were 2-story, and then many people wanted 3 stories because they wanted a bigger yard, and you could never get it right. The market shifts, it moves around, and so you just have to navigate the process of staying in business.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to get to your book, The Home Building Business, right? I'm sorry, the business of home building.
Pretty much the same.
Right. Yes, but it's the business of no, because I want to get it right, because I want to make sure that, if anyone wants to purchase this book, that they need to have the right name.
Yes.
So there it is, right there. The business of home building.
The business of home building.
Yes.
It was
what
fun.
inspired you to write this book? Because aren't you almost giving your secrets away to your competitors, right?
Yeah, part of the mentorship. There are no real secrets in this business. Part of the secret is the tolerance to pain, your ability to coordinate, your devotion to it, the amount of hours that you give this business, like any others. And part of what this book brings is that it allows you to use this information for every business, every type of industry. It allows you to really understand the sequence of events that are required in order to build a business. And some of them are very basic and very fundamental. And most of us may already know them. We just neglect to think about them, sit down for a minute, understand what they are, and create a plan of attack. That's what this book is doing, that it's allowing you to think about some things that, although obvious, maybe you forgot to spend a little time to organize them and execute them properly. So throughout the years of being in this business, again, I've never stopped my love for entrepreneurship and my business side of the equation. I never went to the other side, which was the technical. I had someone that I trusted who took care of that part, and I kept my mind and my time and my effort operating the financial aspects and the behind the scene type of activities. So I thought that there wasn't enough information for people to understand why a lot of these businesses fail, because we romanticize, we think of them as much more fun, much more entertaining, much more creative and technical. And we believe that having that knowledge and that expertise is enough to be successful in business. And it's not. You have to understand money. You have to understand finances. You have to understand how to manage administration and some fundamental things that are essential for a business to not only exist, but to grow and to stay in business. And I thought I'd put them all together in a book.
No, wonderful. Now, looking back at your career, what role do you think that resilience has played in your ability to not only overcome challenges, right? Because you definitely need that resilience to be an entrepreneur. But how has it also helped you thrive in the different endeavors and sectors of your life?
In every aspect possible. Because life's job is to knock you down every day.
You can say that again.
You down. That is just the way life is. We don't come here to enjoy and to win and to have victories every day.
Yeah.
The nature of being alive, the nature of being in business is dealing with headaches. So the sooner you understand that everything we do is going to be very rocky and full of obstacles, and
Yes.
begin to develop our ability to tolerate that pain, which is what I try to practice.
Yeah.
Although some days are more difficult than others. Even today, I struggle every day to try to deal with the different headaches that get thrown at me. But part of it is just understanding that this is part of the business, and the sooner you get comfortable with pain and headaches and how to deal with them, I
Yeah.
prefer to learn how to react to problems than to avoid them, because it's
Mhm.
almost impossible. I mean, you can
Mhm.
try all you want, but business is just a place where it doesn't matter how good of an operator, how well you execute your part, it's
Yes.
going to have all kinds of issues that are going to be thrown your way and that are going to appear every single day. So I apply it pretty much. There's not a day that goes by that I have to deal with some frustrating aspect of my business. So being able to understand that it is part of it. Yes, I get tired. Yes, I get annoyed. Yes, at some point I have to walk away from issues once they get to a point where I've had enough.
Yeah.
But the trick is to figure out, take that time and get back to it, and get back to it, and get back to it, and be persistent and be stubborn and be ambitious and have the strength, the anger to know that you are not going to give up. If you can build that personality, eventually you
Yeah.
get there. But if you keep thinking that, no, I'm going to wait until something easy or something fun or something pleasurable helps me become successful, you might wait a very long time. It's never going to be easy.
No, most definitely. There's a favorite phrase that gets thrown around that I love and I like to use is that because you can't control everything in your life. And if you think you're going to control things, you better not be an entrepreneur because you're not going to be able to control stuff. Just happens. But the saying I love saying is life be lifing. Because
I
that's
love
how
that.
it is.
Yes.
How you can explain it, right? It's just
Oh,
you just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
throw your hands up because you go, now why is this happening right now? So
You cannot even realize where all these headaches are coming from, and that's
right,
just part of it.
right.
But if you solve them and you develop your ability to fix them as you go, one day you look
Yeah,
back and realize that you've gone a long way and that you've achieved more things than you ever thought. But you just have to
that's
learn
it.
to put up with it. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And that's part of it too, right? Just having the patience and giving yourself grace. In being an entrepreneur, because there's just so many things that happen and that you can't anticipate. And so, your legacy as a resilient and successful entrepreneur is profound. I mean, just what you have been able to accomplish ever since the 80s. I mean, we're talking about you've been around since the 80s in business. That's just phenomenal to
Yeah.
still be moving forward, and you haven't had to shut down, or, I mean, not that it hasn't had its, challenges, but, most businesses at maximum 2-3 years, belly up, it's done. Right. And they're out of there. But you have stood the test of time here in the Houston area. And we definitely appreciate you as a fellow Houstonian. Thank you so much. As I said, you have provided homes for families so where they can create memories, life lasting memories. So, what advice would you like to give to individuals striving to cultivate resilience in their own lives and or careers based on your personal experiences?
Yes. That's great. Just know that in business, you're supposed to fail. You're supposed to have difficult days. You're supposed to have every headache. It's normal. Just get through, keep moving. And if something goes really, really wrong, which has happened to me a number of times, take a break and understand that it's not the end of the world. You will figure out what the next stage of your life, everything has a reason for being, everything has a purpose. I have to make a small note there. If within my business career, I have failed. Although I've been in this business of construction for a couple of decades, um, I have made a lot of money and lost a lot of money and had to start from scratch in other industries, in other businesses. And when that happened, I thought it was the end of the world for me. I thought I would never get back on my feet. I thought I would never start another business again. I am a very unique individual that has never had a paycheck, has never received a paycheck. I've started my own businesses from the ground up multiple times, and I've lost them. And not only in the construction business, but in many other industries before this one, and even within this one, in the financial crisis and the housing bubble, we lost everything and we had to start again. And it felt like it was the end of the world. It really, there were nights where I just couldn't go to sleep. It was depressing. It was hard to get up in the morning. It was hard to go to work, to just deal with headaches and problems, figure out how to come up with the money to get through that day. And if you understand that that's of course, it's not fun at the moment, but when you look back, if you get through, it's very rewarding. And you just have to build that strength to know that it's part of it, and that there will be your brain, your soul, your heart will figure out a way to get out of the trouble that you're in. But you cannot throw the towel. That's the summary of
No,
my
you're right.
advice. Don't throw the towel. Don't give up. Get up. Get up. Figure it out. Find a reason, whether it's your family, whether it's your ego, whether it's your ambition, whether it's your desire to get somewhere. Don't give up. Keep
That's
going,
it.
even if you have to start again.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, Jose, I just have to say, for my first visual podcast, thank you for sharing your incredible journey with the listeners today on Lifejacked, the Resilience Podcast. Your story is a testament to the power of resilience, determination, and unwavering commitment to success. I hope that this story will serve as a beacon of inspiration for individuals striving to overcome challenges and achieve their dreams. So, how can listeners find and connect with you if they are interested in a custom home themselves, or if they would like to purchase a copy of your book?
Well, my book is definitely on Amazon and several other distribution outlets. I am, interestingly enough, not building myself now. I am now the investor of a number of construction companies. So I wouldn't be able to build a house myself for anybody, but as I've shifted a little bit into from operations more into the investor side of things. But yes, I have my YouTube channel where I upload a lot of my videos. joseberlanga.com gives you a lot of information about my current businesses and my activities. And I hope to continue writing. I finished my second book, which will be out, published very, very soon. And working on the next one. I hope to have several books completed and out to the public very soon.
Wonderful. Any last words of encouragement for the listeners?
Keep going. Keep going. This life is not about just winning. Winning all the time would be boring. It's about learning. It's about dealing with pain, dealing with sadness, and learning how to get through it so that you have something that you have to tell your story once you achieve your goals. If your goals happen too easy and they come to you very, very fast, you're probably not going to realize what they mean. So just keep fighting and keep going and know that nothing is easy.
Well, Jose, again, thank you so much for, being the first guest as I transition to having a visual podcast instead of just an audio podcast. Of course, listeners and viewers, you can find this podcast on your favorite streaming platform if you just wanted to still listen to the audio. But it's just the first time that people can also see one of my guests instead of just hear one of my guests. So, Jose, I wish you and your family nothing but abundance. Please take care.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe. It was great being here with you. And it was an honor to be the first one in your show.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Jose Berlanga. Be sure to join me next time for more uplifting stories and insights on resilience. And remember, no matter the obstacles, the resilience is the key to unlocking your full potential. Dr. Rowe, signing off.